Hey there, it is Rachel. And I think we can all agree that as parents, we are tired, we're busy, and we don't have a lot of extra energy to spend. So it makes sense that a lot of parents would ask me, Rachel, how do I get my kids in the moment to stop their big behaviors and their big emotions, their meltdowns and their disrespect? What can I do to get it to stop? And then they'll often follow this up by saying, I've tried so many strategies and none of them, quote unquote, work. And I'm here to tell you that you're right. Once your child is already in a place of big emotions or big behaviors, there's very little that you can do that's going to quote unquote work if your definition of working is just to snap them out of it or get it to stop. So I'm going to tell you the science behind this behavior and these emotions and why it's so hard to find something that quote unquote works. And the reality is this isn't just going to apply to your children. This is going to apply to any human being. So basically what happens is by the time your child is having big behaviors or big emotions, by the time they're melting down or being really disrespectful, all of those behaviors and emotions are actually signs that they are in a place that I call yuck, or a place of some sort of discomfort. So they may be a sign that your child is hungry or tired, or they feel out of control, or you've told them something they don't want to hear, like they can't do something or have something. What happens in the human brain is when someone senses that sort of discomfort because they can't get their way or they're tired, whatever the reason is, when they sense that discomfort, their brain, because it's uncomfortable, they sense the discomfort, turns on an alarm. And that alarm is their fight or flight response. And what happens when a child is in fight or flight is that they do melt down and act disrespectful. They do start to negotiate with you or try to control the situation. This is what the fight or flight response does, and it's a natural response. It's not an excuse for their behavior, but you need to see these behaviors as a symptom that they are in fight or flight. And what happens is once the brain is in our fight or flight response, in order for the fight or flight response to shut down and the behavior to change, the fight or flight response has to sense that we're safe, that we can turn off that response and everything's going to be okay. So we can start to shut down our fight or flight response and re-access the part of the brain that allows us to act mature and responsible. But in order to feel safe, a child has to sense that we are on their side rather than against them. And often what happens is the phrases that we use to try to calm them down don't make them feel safe. When we're telling them that their behavior is ridiculous and they need to stop and it's not okay, it just makes them go deeper into yuck, deeper into their fight or flight response, and certainly none of that is going to work. But let's say you are doing something to make them feel safe. Let's say you are staying in control of your own emotions and maybe you're even supporting them and doing something that makes them feel comfortable. Here's the thing you need to know is that the fight or flight response is an actual physiological change that occurs in the body. And once the brain senses we're safe, it still takes time for that fight or flight response to shut down. So there's nothing you can say in the moment, even if you are absolutely making your child feel safe. It takes time for the brain to sense that we're safe and for the body, for actually the nervous system to make the changes it needs to actually calm down. So there really isn't this phrase that works to just shut it down immediately. So instead of trying to find that phrase or search for these strategies that are just magic, what I suggest you do instead is focus on what you can do to help them sense safety more quickly. And that's really just staying in control of your own emotions so that they sense that you are on their side instead of against them. So here are really 3 quick things that you can think about in order to help them feel safe and help them get out of this response more quickly. The first is just simply to set your expectations, that once they're in yuck, there's not much you can do. In fact, engaging with that yuck tends to make it worse. So just set your expectations that it's going to take a little while for them to actually get out of this place. The second thing you can do is maybe focus on what you can do while they are in that place of yuck. So maybe it's a phrase you tell yourself. I know one of the things I say to myself is, your emotions don't control my emotions. I try to remind myself that my kids being in yuck doesn't mean that I have to go into yuck. I know some parents will say things like, this will end. It's not going to last forever. Maybe you're not saying a phrase, but you're doing something in your mind that distracts you a little bit so you don't get sucked into their yuck. But ultimately, finding something that's going to help you stay calm is more likely it's more likely that your child will sense safety and they will get out of their fight or flight response more quickly. Now, the last thing I want to say is if you're finding this particularly difficult for you to stay calm and support your child in that moment, you want to think about your overall yuck in general, because if you are in a lot of yuck in your life, unfortunately, it's going to be very hard for you not to get drawn into their yuck and for you to give your child what they need. So you really want to focus on what you can do to reduce the yuck in your life. If you have any questions or need any support with this, whether it's your yuck, your child's yuck, you can always reach out to me at rachel@bailey.com. If you need more help with dealing with kids with big emotions, I do have a free resource you can check out. That's on my website at rachel-bailey.com/big emotions. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care.